First of all, hi, Reggie Whitley here, and here we are, almost finished with our whole vision series, whatever you want to call it. And I'm so excited because, of course, we have three more topics for this week. Let's go over real quick what we're doing. So, week one, we went over personal identity, your personal growth, and your recreation and renewal. How do you see those in 2021 for yourself? Week two, which was last week, of course, we went over spiritual growth, your career, and financial stability. I know y'all like that last one. But this week, we're going to start with a whole new set, and we're going to focus more so on relationships. The first week, we talked about ourselves. The second week, we talked about kind of our mindset, our things that involve our surroundings, our mindset, our spirituality, our finances. This week, again, we're talking about those who are around us. And so I knew if I did this by myself, I was going to cut up real bad because your boy be out here kind of conflicted as far as, with this first one that we're going to talk about because I don't know. We'll get there. And so I said, I need some help, somebody with some sense, somebody that's going to keep me because we don't want a train wreck like we had a few weeks ago. Okay. We want him to act right. And so you hear her already. I told y'all I don't know how this podcast thing is going to go. I don't, I feel like I'm new to it, but I had to book somebody and I didn't feel like booking nobody. But I said, you know what? Who I can book this real quick, real easy, and that's going to help us out a whole lot. Somebody the people want to hear. My
Yeah,
girl,
Lord.
Shontal Bettis-Brown from The
Hey.
Awakening with Shontal Bettis-Brown.
Yes. Yes. Hi, everyone.
Thought she wasn't going to be here this season, but she's here. She made
Mm-hmm.
it.
Yeah,
She
Lord.
made it in the door. We said we weren't going to have no guests, but how about the Lord made an exception, huh?
Yeah, he do. That what he do.
Comes in and
He,
make an exception.
he bring in help.
He bring because I needed some help because I was saying I don't know what I'm gonna tell these people about this first one. We talking about companionship and marriage. Look,
Look,
these
that is
people
some.
out here be cutting up a little bit in 2021, and then it's a pandemic too. We can't go nowhere, and I'm single, and I don't know. I'm that
Uh,
one to tell you leave them,
look, see, that's
leave
what I'm
them.
talking about. That's what you don't need to do. See, you got the, 2020. Basically, for me and people around me, I noticed a lot. 2020 was the year of endurance, and so when you talk about companionship, um you got to endure. You got to be able. This is the year. That was last year was the year you actually got to see your significant other and their capabilities, their the leadership, the responsibility, the spirituality. You got to see everything. So I feel like companionship for 2020 it was a lot of people getting divorced last year.
A lot
A lot
celebrities, locals,
I mean, a lot of people.
newlyweds that
I,
had gotten married, and they said, "No, we finna get this annulled." People who's been married 20, 30 years. Oh, I can't do this.
because you was able to, it put you in a situation where I feel like 2020 was a year of focus. And it put you in a situation where you didn't have any choice but to sit down, sit at home, and really get to really know who you with
And
at
I
every
think
level.
it is so good that we're talking about vision for singles and for married people today with this topic because when you create a vision, a lot of people, we hear it all the time. People love the wedding. They dream of the wedding. They want to have the wedding. They want to
Mm,
have the children. They want to have the white picket fence,
mm,
the little typical stuff that people
mm-hmm.
talk about. Now we've gotten a little bigger. We want the mansion or we want the nice fancy cars, the Benz or the Bentley or all that stuff. But we don't really look at the vision that we have for the person who we're going to be with. I was
Exactly.
See, the Holy Ghost caught me because I was about to say I was watching a movie, and I know I just went to Google and got this quote a few minutes ago, and it's from this movie that I've never seen before. And the Holy Ghost said, "You're not fit to lie to these people today." So I didn't watch the movie, but I got this quote off of Google. It's from the movie When Harry Met Sally. I ain't never seen it,
Me
but
neither.
it says, "When you realize you want to spend the rest of your life with somebody, you want the rest of your life to start as soon as possible." And I think that we have to get a vision, whether you're with somebody or not, whether you're married or not, we have to get a vision for who is it that we want to spend the rest of our lives with. I've heard insane stories from people who have said, you know, I want this person to look like this. I saw this person in a dream. He looked like this.
Mm-hmm.
She looked like that.
Mm-hmm.
We're not talking about a vision for the looks
You're talking
because
about a look
these folks
inside
been
vision.
inside because you saw the looks for these people, and we're not down on anybody who got a divorce, because divorce, I ain't gonna say it's good for some people. It is good for some people,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want to be controversial or nothing, because I don't want y'all
Because
clapping
they
back,
did
but I
get
really want.
because they did get married for looks.
They got married,
Oh,
most of them. I've heard people literally said, "I just like the way he looked. I just like the
or
way
what
she
he
looked."
what the person had, and then by 2020 a lot of people lost jobs or whatever, so the person didn't have that stream of income or that stream of things that they used to have, and it's like, you ain't bringing nothing to the table no more. You ain't got nothing to offer me, so why should I be connected to you?
And this isn't what I signed up for, a lot of them said.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe, being single, never been married, that we should not look at the stuff, the looks, the tangibles, and all that stuff. We should
Mm-hmm.
be looking at, okay, this is the kind of heart that I want this person to have. Put that on
Exactly.
your vision board. I want my spouse to have this. First of all, figure out if you want to get married or not, because as of today, now we're recording this on Sunday, January the 17th at 4:28 p.m. Now you catch me at 5:30, I might want to get married.
this
Because I don't
this
know
right
what, I'll
here.
be watching some shows like Glee, and they have like one of them real good proposals, and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, but I'll be watching shows, and you know, if I can watch a real good wedding scene or a real good proposal scene, I don't know. It just, I might lean toward marriage. Or then if I don't watch a good show for a while, I lean back on the other side. Like, well, maybe I
Oh,
ain't. I don't know. So I'm not
help
the
them,
one to
Holy
talk
Ghost.
about. Now I can talk about how to help people as far as, you know, y'all out here. I ain't fussing because I'm pointing my finger and everything. How people be, looking toward the wrong things, and we're gonna break that. That's not the vision that we're gonna do. We're not gonna look toward the material. We're not gonna look toward what they can bring to the table. So many people,
Yeah.
what can it? And I mean, bring to the table like financial and stuff like that. Because you can't
So,
say what are they bringing to the table emotionally. Now, hold on.
yeah.
Let me say before I turn it over to you. I'm not saying you got to get with somebody that's broke, though. Now, if the Lord
Right.
tells you, then that's one thing. But I'm not saying, I don't want to guilt trip nobody because, well, I
Right.
don't want nobody that's in this. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that shouldn't be at the top of the list. That shouldn't be the deciding factor. Oh, they got money, so I can put up with all this other stuff.
But you know what? For me, at one point in time, before I met my husband, I used to always say, if I got with somebody, I want us to be with. My vision is to be with somebody that I can build with, even if he didn't have anything, business or whatever the case may be. As long as I have, as long as you have that drive and that thirst to build, and you have the vision to be something. Like my husband want to be a chef. I mean, he want to cook. He want it's certain things, visions that he has towards that. And so we, it's okay that you don't have it right now because there's something we can build together. For me, it's like planting a flower. Planting a flower for the first time. You got to nurture. You got to put so much into it. So, and you tend to learn more, grow together, instead of separate. You do have some people that, oh, he got to have this, she got to have that before we can get married. I want too much like that. And like now, since 2020, we have came to the point where his, we had to restructure our visions. Everybody, I feel like everyone has a vision before they get married, but everyone don't have the endurance when they are married.
Let me
Can
get
you?
something in there before you go to endurance. I just want to put in there that that's such a good point. See, that's why I had to bring somebody else on. It's such a good point that you put that in there because, okay, so I'll say, I remember I had two friends. One friend would always say that she wanted to, same as you, wanted somebody who didn't have a whole, well, not saying that they were broke or struggling, but they didn't want somebody who had so much to where they had to come in and catch up, where they had to come in and be dependent. They wanted to, like you say, build together. Then I had
Mhm.
another friend who was the complete opposite. He was saying that he wanted to already have this and already have that, already have gone to these trips, on these trips, to these countries, to these states, vacations, so that when he got married, his wife could come in and he'll be like, "Oh, let me show you what I've already experienced." He wanted to already have the money and all that stuff, so they didn't have to build together. He already had it. I just wanted to put that out there that there's two, you have to get the vision, what you see for yourself.
Right.
I hope y'all didn't
Yeah,
hear my
and
phone
it's
go
it's
off.
and like you said, it's a self vision and it's a goal vision. So when you go in a marriage, it's more of a goal vision together. It's more of a together. It's not so much. See, his vision was for himself, but the vision for a marriage is a whole new different eye, a whole new different perspective. My husband have went places that I have not been before. I have went places that he has not been before. The goal is to, okay, that's cool, you went, that's cool, you went, but let's take the kids this time so it can be an experience for everybody. So when, to me, every marriage, I feel like people don't get married and don't have a vision. If they do, they shouldn't be married anyway, because you just freelancing. You really just going in it, because that's probably why so many people are divorced, because they didn't have a vision, or they just wanted to get married just because of the intimacy, or just for how a person made them feel. And feelings expire at a point of time in a marriage. I don't care what nobody say. Feelings do expire. The love don't expire, but the feeling of what's going on in the marriage, sometimes it get overwhelming. And so you still have to focus on that vision of what are your main goals. What, okay, you want to save this much, you want to do this, you want to do that. We still got to do that. I feel like there was a point where me and my husband literally dropped the ball in a lot of our visions that we had for each other. And it was just to the other day where he said, we was talking about something, getting something, and he said, you know what? You get on my nerves with that. If we wait till we got 60, so and so, we ain't gonna never get it, because we just started waiting for this and waiting for that, and life just passing us by. What we gonna enjoy? People dying left and right. What we gonna do if, together, like right now, live in a moment for right now? So, but that was our vision to do that, that we he was speaking on to do. So I had to like I say, sometimes the vision drop, the goals drop. You look at stuff at different perspective. I'm more of a, to me now, I would rather save a lot more, and he do too, but in a sense where, okay, you can say this and say that. What if one of us die tomorrow? You did all this saving, but you didn't live. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, now let's go back to the plan. Let's go back to what goals and vision that we at first we set out to do. And so you got to really just be able to um basically endure in a marriage. When you go before and get married, you say for better or worse. You got to ride that thing out. You literally have to ride it out, pray it out, and you have to really just seek it out, because you can get distracted in other things with other people. Oh, this person that did this person, this couple that did this couple did that. We ain't growing, we ain't growing. Okay, go back to the drawing board. Go back to the beginning. Go back to what you see, what y'all sought out at first together. See who is, and you also got to be held accountable. Everybody have to be accountable for what they didn't do, or what they where they led wrong, or what they didn't do. A lot of women nowadays don't like to get married. He can't even leave me. I'm the head. He can't do this. He can't do that. And at what point, sometimes a man needs to hit it. Men need to hear that. Women need to hear it. You don't do what you did at first, and you're not doing what you was doing at first for us to get to that vision. And you have to keep that thirsty. You have to keep that hunger. You just got to stay at it. Because if you don't stay at it, you will be captive in the land of the divorce world real fast.
And I
So
think that's a good reason why, because my whole thing that I've been saying for the past 2 weeks is I don't want anybody to just listen. to these. I want you to actually do whatever it takes. Write down your vision in on pad and paper, or create a poster, create a vision board. If you can see it, it'll really
Yeah.
help you, because like she said, you have to go back to, okay, what is the goal? What was the vision?
Mm-hmm.
And I want people to, so I want to hit two, maybe three points, like real quick. So let's do, and we've hit them already, but I just want to, so for everybody as a whole, the only thing I want to say for everybody as a whole is you don't have to believe the narrative that everybody else has had. So many people
Mm-hmm.
say, um, and again, I have to say, I'm saying this as one who's never been married, but I live this life. I live this principle in every area of my life. So, you have people who will say about marriage, oh, marriage is rough. Marriage is
Mm-hmm.
rough. Oh, yeah, we've been married 30 years, but it's been a long 30 years. It's been a
Mm-hmm.
long, that doesn't have to be your narrative.
Mm-mm.
I mean, literally does not, we went through a rough patch like everybody else. You probably went through a rough patch in yours. 90% of the world probably went through a rough patch in theirs. That don't mean I got to go through a rough patch in mine. So when you create your vision, I believe that people should put that in there. I don't have to have a rough marriage. I don't have to have a rough patch. This year, 2021, we don't have to go without communicating.
And
We don't have to go,
a bunch of
struggling.
people speak it. Sometimes
Literally.
people speak stuff over themselves and over their marriage and over their spouses. And I used to be one of them. I used to say things like just stupid stuff. Just, and now that I think about it, just stupid. I don't know. It just crazy. He don't want, or he don't want. Okay, it's not probably that he don't want. It's probably you, Chantel. You ain't helping him to see a way to get it, or you probably know the way to get it, or the resources get it. Okay, point them to, let's point to that direction. And so you got it's, to me, it's all of accountability, when you joining and going back to that drawing board, because it's just like a foundation. It's just like a uh basically you just got, how do you build a house? You got to go back to the layout. It's all about the layout. One plywood can mess up the floor if you don't get the right wood. You just got to go back to the beginning of it and really just, and you got to want to, let me first say that you got to want to go back to the vision board. You got to want to go back and say, okay, where did we mess up at? And you got to be able to just see and realize, like I said, who dropped the ball and where's it and where you gonna pick it up at. That's
Right.
it. So that's for me with visions. And as far as marriage, you got to be able to endure. And a lot of people don't like to endure no more. Everybody want to have this, like you say, get this and have this and get that and do, and just, to me it's more of a show and tell. This word had became show and tell, but show and tell the love in it. That's where I'm at with a show. If you're gonna show something, show and tell the love in it. So
And then also, I would say not just the love, but also, I'm not contradicting myself, because I know I just say every marriage don't have to have rough patches and stuff. Because I don't believe every church don't have to have rough patches. Every business don't have to have rough patches. But don't just show the love. Show also if you do have those
how did you
struggling
get over it?
times,
Hmm.
because so many people, we see these celebrities, and we've been doing this for years. We see these celebrities in the tabloids. We see these celebrities on social media, and oh, look at what they got their wife. They got their wife a new big ring. Look at what she got her husband, that new car. Oh, look at them taking this vacation. You don't know what's going on,
Right.
because, again, with such a showy society, especially in the United States,
Hmm.
because you have to understand, a lot of these countries don't do the stuff that we do as far as showing off. People in other countries be looking at us saying, why are they showing off like that? They show, of course, we show what we want to show, which is the good stuff, but don't look at, okay, this is how they, and then it's not even with celebrities. Don't just look at your neighbors and say, oh, look at how they always going to church on Sunday morning. You see them when they pull out the driveway and they all dressed up. He could have knocked her upside her head,
I mean,
or
clean.
vice versa, right before
Hmm.
they walked out the house.
Walk out the house. What about when they get in a car?
Squeezing her leg. You can't, they sitting there, he's smiling, waving at you with one hand. and squeezing her leg with the other hand. You
Mm-hmm.
don't know what's going. So don't compare. Jonathan McReynolds, I think I made a reference to that in another episode. Got a song called "Comparison Kills" because it
Mm.
literally does.
Mm-hmm.
And so don't compare. Now I want to also say for singles, I think that you should do a vision as far as, who do you want to see? And well, both really. Who do you want to see? What is the type of person that you want to see yourself growing old with? I think that people need to discover when it comes to companionship and vision, their love language. There's like
Mm.
5 different love languages. Look
Mm-hmm.
them up. There's a book on them. Book on it. I can't remember the name of the book, but I think it's called The Five Love Languages. But each person has a love language. You have to know yours. If you are with a spouse, you have to know theirs because that's what's going to help you. So you have to have a vision for that. How are we going to maneuver or operate according to our love language? Because that shows you what you need as a person from the person that you're with. And then you have to figure out what is your communication style, what is your communication preference, and how do you prefer to have, what style and preference do you prefer to have with others? So if you have a certain style, you need to know who you are. This goes back to personal identity. And then okay, now I'm compatible with this type of communication style. If you like it to be quiet in the house all the time, you probably don't need to get with somebody that's in a rock band.
Right.
I mean, what sense do it make? It does work for some people. I don't call preachers names, but I call Bishop Jakes' name. I love Bishop Jakes and I love his wife. They talked about how they're total opposites,
Mm-hmm.
but they can deal with that.
Yeah.
They worked that out before they got married, I'm sure. She's quiet, he's loud. They've been working it out all this time. I'm sure they weighed that before they said I do.
Right.
So you gotta weigh that. And then even your ideal date night. What is your ideal date? What does that look like? How are you
Oh
gonna keep
God.
the romance going in 2021, especially if you're already married? How are
Yes,
you gonna
Lord.
keep that going?
Yes, yes, yes.
Especially now, you gotta get creative. I saw the neatest thing, Chantel. I'm addicted to TikTok. And I saw
Oh
the
God.
neatest thing. This man, he said that he wanted to write his wife a love letter. And he wrote the love letter, all nice and neat, hand wrote it. And he said, well, I didn't want to just give it to her. So what he did was he put some coffee. He brewed some coffee and put some in the bottom of a pan, and he laid the paper in the coffee, and then he baked the paper. And so
Oh
it
wow.
gave it like an aged look. So then he got a cork, and then he burnt the cork, and he burnt a few parts of the paper and then rubbed it over the paper to give it more of an aged look. And then he burnt the ends around the edges of the paper all the way around. So it kind of looked like it was burnt, aged, and old. And then he got a bottle and he rolled it up and put the paper in the bottle, and then he tied some ribbon and stuff around the bottle and made it kind of he I think he had like seaweed and stuff to make it look like it just came out of the ocean, and that's how he
Oh.
presented it to us. So I mean, just stuff like that.
And
I
people
think it just takes being creative like that. That was something so simple. I mean, he took something so small. I want to give her a love letter and just use his creativity.
and I must say that a lot of that has changed. A lot of that has changed in these times because you don't I actually before when I got out of work today, I was on my way home, I stopped at the store and it was a couple, interracial couple. Um he was open the door for it was a white man, African American woman. He opened the door for her, and the black man was another African American man. He was just looking at it like, well, we don't do all that. That's why she with him. And it's not about that. And I had to say something. Like, it took everything in my power to just say, dude, hush your face. It ain't even about that. You got to be able to love. You got to show that love. And you have to be like that in these days and times because time is so valuable. And when you're dealing with intimacy, date night, like me and my husband, we have the worst. When I tell you we have the worst setup right now when it comes to that date night or whatever, because we always have kids. It's kids like we don't have babysitters. Like what a babysitters is like they used to be back in our day. We used to have kids to babysit. We ain't got babysitters no more.
See what I'm talking about? It's
So
different.
yeah, it is different. But one of the main things, my husband is he a romantic person, and I am too. But for me, I get distracted with the kids. And so a bunch of our intimacy level, a bunch of our romance has kind of went through a certain hiccup because it's not his fault, it's my fault because I'm so worried about being a mom, doing this and doing helping with schoolwork or whatever. I hadn't got to the point where I needed to be. So we had to go back to the drawing board. I had to go back to the back to the vision. Okay, when we got married, it was certain things we discussed. It was certain things that we did. What can we do to get that way? So one of the things that I had to come up with was my husband works day shift. Majority of the time I work night shift. So I came up with a plan as to go back to where we was in the beginning. In the beginning, I used to try to stay up, wait on him to get off work because he was a manager, and we used to just talk and watch movies. So me, I try to get the kids together now. My goal for 2021 is take it back to our vision in the beginning. Get the kids in the bed by 9 o'clock. By 10:30, when he make it home, it's his time. We watch movies now. We actually talk more now than we used to do because usually I'd be asleep. I had to really get my body back into a back into a work as far as having the energy to stay up because I used to fall asleep or I used to do this and do that. So now it's like you have to get back to that. You have to plan. It is so important to plan y'all time. Just like it's important to plan you time, you have to get that time in because you will lose it. Some people they cheat, because of the simplest thing. They're not getting attention or they're not getting this and they're not getting that. So you got to really figure out. Sometimes we look at it cheating. Sometimes cheating is just what a person does. But sometimes it's what a person is lacking, what they're not getting. And so you have to be open to speak on or to tell, for better or for worse, what are you doing wrong, what that person is doing wrong in order to get to that place that you was once at and get better at it. So it's like a give and take situation. You got to be able to see your wrong. You got to be able to create your right, fix it, get it together, and get back to that vision. Get back to that love. Because I believe everybody, that first love, when you first meet your significant other, it speaks. My husband had me on cloud 9. Like I ain't even want no wedding. You was there at my wedding. I ain't even want no wedding. I was like, dude, look, let me tell you something. We ain't got to have no big wedding. We ain't got to have it. I'm marrying you. I'm not marrying everybody else. I'm not marrying the people, whatever. I'm marrying you. So let's just do this. Let's get it done, and we good. And that's how I
So it
went
was
with it.
an exclusive wedding.
Look, it was crazy. Let's be real. I didn't even have a song. It was so
I don't
crazy.
think no music was played, as a
Look,
matter of fact.
we had to find a song to play because I wasn't even worried about all that. And it's sad that I wouldn't. I mean, we listened to music and we had certain songs we both liked, but when it came to it, it was more. If I could change times back, it would have been a poem read when I walked to him instead of music being played because that's how we communicated. We communicated with poetry or with words or with. I would have that would have satisfied me as well. So, like I say, you really have to just get back to the goal and not give up or not look at it where I ain't getting this type of attention no more, or she ain't talking to him, or let me go ahead and go to Lisa house, or let me go to Billy house and get what I need because Billy give me the attention. No, go back to the drawing board and speak on it. Some people don't want to speak on it or listen. You just got to speak on, put it out there.
And I think that's one of the biggest things that should go on every vision board as for or vision have you writing it as far as especially companionship to have open relation, open. The devil is a lie.
I
I
was just
bind
gonna
that
say, what you
devil.
talking about
What
open?
happened
You
there?
mean open
What happens
communication
there?
between
Open
y'all two?
communication.
Look, okay,
The devil will slip in on you and he'll take you and hijack you and make you say what he want to say, but we binding him.
but see, one of the things
We're
that
not doing
I
open
no, we ain't
no
doing
open
open.
relationship. We're
But
doing
one of
open
the things
communication.
that I had exactly one of the things that I can say too is sometimes it's good to have we speaking of friendships as well, right?
No, we ain't got that yet. You stuck on marriage right now. I'm trying to move on, but you stuck.
It also has to do with your surrounding. Okay, let's go. Let's ride. Marriage, we
So, cause I was gonna do a real good segue. I was trying to do a good segue. Y'all see how it works?
see you see how I get?
Cause my segue, I sat here and I thought of it. You set it up and then you snatched it away from it. But I'm gonna bring it back because communication is so good with relationships because so many people they have these family secrets and stuff because they don't have open communication, which brings us to number two, a vision for your family relationships, immediate family, extended family. How does that look? What does that look like for you? What is that? What are your goals? What are your visions? There's a quote that says, all families are different and unique, but they all have one thing in common: love. And so many people don't have a vision for their family, but the root of your vision for your family, moreover than anything else, should be love. How are you going to exemplify it? How are you going to show it, spread it, accept it? And one of the ways you have to do that is through communication. So you have to figure out, these are the goals that I want in my family. These are the areas that we're going to work on this year in 2021. This is the end result that I want to see, and this is how we're going to get there. Even if it has to do with your family traditions, are you going to keep them going? Are you going to create new ones? Have your family traditions been good and healthy for your family? What are your family values, your heritage, your legacy? All of these are visions that you have to create for your 2021. Get that end goal. How are you going to work toward getting there? And one of the ways that you have to do it is through open communication. Go ahead.
Right. So when it comes to family, when you say family, it's for family for me. One of the things that I did before I got married, and I was stuck on Ruth and Naomi. I studied that chapter. When you say family, family is a good key point because a lot of people get married and they say, well, I ain't got to deal with the opposite family. I ain't got to deal with this family. First, you got to get the family structure in your house. When it comes to the kids, when it comes to each other, it's first the husband and the wife. Then you got to add the kids to it. My main, our main focus for our kids and our family was to break generational curses. That was the first vision for us, period. Because you had my husband then graduated, I graduated. And so school was the number one factor for the children. You got to go to school, you got to make the grades. We have to be those type of parents that are active in our kids' life when it comes to schoolwork, everything. We have to, one of the things that I also encourage my husband to do, even with the sons that we have, you focus with the girls to show them, because people lack that, and that's why you have so many young women these days that are lost because they didn't have the male figure role model to love them and show them that structure that they need. So one of the things that we had to go back to the draft board, go back to the vision board and speak on was how to pull the girls into knowing their worth. Our number one goal is to communication with them, let them talk, let them speak. Even if our kids are, it's like a hit and miss with them when it comes to communication. The kids that's our other kids, they tend to. Um, I'm more of a, how can I say that, a structural parent when it comes to your goals. Like now. Soraya, what your profession? One of the things I ask them every every chance I get, what do you want to be when you grow up? Because I need to know if it's consistent or if it changes. Because kids change throughout every grade level. Oh, one minute they want to be a teacher, one minute they want to be a pharmacist, one minute they want to help pets and animals, next minute they want to be a scientist. Soraya, I look at her as the key for that because she was one of the ones that um I didn't know. Soraya just wanted to do a whole lot. And so one of the things, like I say, with when you're dealing with family and you're dealing with kids, was to basically structure them to break those curses, to know I don't allow them to say they can't. There will come times when you're unable to do something, but never say you can't do it. Don't try. So that's one of the things that we try to structure throughout our household dealing with our children. Don't say you
And what it
can't.
sounds like too is that, and this is important for people not to just create visions for your family. Sounds like you are, whether you know it or not, in a way setting your children up
Yeah,
to create visions for themselves.
yeah, because
And I think that that's an important thing to know too. Don't just focus on, okay, we need to create this vision for ours. They need to create vision for themselves too.
exactly. So yeah, we basically, that's one of, because it's basically a tradition. We didn't have that. You can, your parents back in the day, they'll tell you can be whatever you want to be. But how are you gonna help me get to that? How are you gonna help me get to a credit score, a good credit score? You have to teach. It's like now we're breaking that tradition as far as just being the parent. You got to be the parent, you got to be the educator, you got to be the accountant, you got to be everything. You got to show them everything that we showing them everything they didn't get. And we're also investing in their future. Soraya says she wants to be a scientist. We bought her a microscope. Okay, let's get some bugs in here. Let's get some dirt in here. Look in the microscope. See, tell me what you see. Write down what you see different. That. And so it's basically Tamara, she want to be a singer. Okay, karaoke machine, get to singing. Joshua, he don't know yet. So the other kids, they want to do certain things too. So in it's mainly investing in your kids' future. So that's one of our family goals. Investing in their future. Give them something, because YouTube, TikTok, social media, everything is getting our kids to a whole nother level. I don't want my children to say I want to be the next Cardi B. I love Cardi B. I like how
Yes, we do.
I love her, but be better than Cardi B. If you're gonna do something, be better than that person. Strive to be better. So that vision for us is something that's important, because they are the future. And due to the fact of how everything is going now in the schools or whatever, you have to keep them focused. So our main family goal is open communication when it comes to whatever situation. You got a problem with a friend, you got a problem with something. Let's talk about it. What's going on? Or school, what's going on? Tell me what's wrong. Just, you have to build that communication in these days with your children. And that's one of our main family goals. And also take a trip. We haven't been on a family vacation since we've been married. Now me and my husband, we'll try to slip away every anniversary. But the kids, we haven't been able to actually get everyone together and just go. So our main goal this year is to get back to that vision. What we was gonna do? Let's travel. Let's go somewhere. Let's relocate. Let's get back to the vision at hand that we thought we couldn't do, because we end up getting a new baby. Joshua ended up coming, so it kind of threw us off. Certain things end up happening, threw us off. Okay, just because you get thrown off for a second, that don't mean you still can't go back to the drawing board and pick it up and keep going.
That's good. That's good to even put that in there. That should have been on every episode. Just because you get thrown off, just because it doesn't work out, even if you do your vision board, writing out your vision, planning it out for 2021, even if you don't hit everything, that doesn't mean that you don't have to hit it. One of the things that I learned, so I was watching. One of my favorites is Dr. Trim. I was watching her. She was on Good Morning America this past Friday.
Oh, I missed it.
Because she's a celebrity, right? It's on. I'll send you the link. And she did so good. I haven't watched the whole thing yet because I was at work during that time. But I watched a good bit, and literally, y'all, I've had these notes. I tell people, I told y'all in the beginning, the first week I did this, or maybe the week before that, I have so many notes in my phone of different stuff. I didn't even have to do no research for this. Um, all 12 of these things was in here. And she just released the book, I think like last year, and she was talking about the book. And she says in the book, she gives 12 areas to write down your vision. Blew my mind. I was like, I got to get the book because I'm pretty sure we're on the same 12. Um, but one of the things that she has always said for years is that she writes her visions in 20-year increments.
Oh, wow.
And she says that I remember going to see her toward the end of one of those 20 years. And she said that she said, I just finished writing my next 20 years. She said, I think she at the time was in her late 50s. But she said, I'm still going to be here another 20. So I better write down my vision for the next 20 years of my life. And she said, my previous vision for 20 years, I have done literally every single thing plus so much more, except one thing. And that one thing was to get married. But she let us know, she said, that doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. What I did was I just transferred that one unfulfilled vision from that vision board to my next vision board. And she's married now. She got married at the age of, I think, 59 for the first time ever. And I just wanted to say, just because, 20 years, the woman, so don't feel bad if you write a 2021, if you look at 2020 and you say, well, I didn't do half of this. Or if you write 2021, don't feel bad if you come up to 2022 and say, oh, I didn't fulfill this, or I didn't do this, I didn't do that, I didn't, whatever. I'm not even going to give no examples. Don't feel bad because this woman went 20 years. In those 20 years, she had gotten engaged and she was planning her wedding. But God told her to leave the whole country and everything, including her fiance, because that's including everything. And so that messed that up. But she still said, I still believe I'm going to get married because that's what I want. That's my vision. So don't get discouraged if you don't get your vision. I want to go from that to there's a quote that.
Let me say one thing. And also, when you're doing your vision, don't put too much on there that you probably won't be able to maintain. Some people overload their vision where
And they're not realistic.
Yeah, you got to be able to, and that was one of my issues. I used to put so much on my plate that I wasn't able to do it, but I had to draw back and go back to and be like, okay, let me be real with myself. I know I can't do all this, not right now, and be able to be who I need to be to what the mother, wife, and all that. So don't be so overwhelming.
And then don't let other people determine what your vision should be. What's realistic for me might not be realistic for another. So, one of the things that we might say is, look, don't put on your vision board, you're going to make $1 million in 2021. And you're not a millionaire. You're struggling right now because that's not realistic. That's not realistic for most people.
Right.
But for some, it is. And so if that's realistic for you, so that's why you got to be careful who you share your vision with. To get to it, you got to be careful who you share your vision with because people's words will deter you. What's possible for them may not be possible for you. What's impossible for them, that's just like if you say, I want to save $7,000 this year. Somebody might look at that and say, that's all? That's all you want in your savings account? Just because you can do more. Don't rain on my vision.
Right.
So you got to be careful who you share your vision with. Be careful who you tell it to, because people will try to rain on your parade, especially if you tell it to not only family but also friends. But that doesn't mean that you have to be closed off, because there's an African proverb that does say, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. So you don't have to close yourself off, because with vision, some visions you cannot fulfill by yourself. Some vision you have to fulfill with number 3, your friends.
Yes. Okay. So when we talk about friend vision goals, that is a whole that is something I had to learn the hard way. One of the things 3 years ago, I don't know where I was. I don't know how it happened. Uh, is it been 3 years? It probably been 4 years. I don't know what was going on.
It's when
I
2021, don't
know
forget.
it's been some years, but I came up with the goal. I don't have no friends that I'm smarter than. People may say you crazy. I had to learn to have friends that make me feel dumb because either you're gonna rise to the occasion and you're gonna learn, or you're gonna stay at a steady level. Now, I ended my podcast with two of my friends, Charlene and Stephanie. Uh,
Hey, Stephanie.
yes, Miss Stephanie, something else.
Hey, Charlene.
And so when I ended with them, they have been in my life. Charlene has been on, I'm what, 40, it's gonna be 41 next month. Charlene has been in my life for over 30 years. Stephanie has been in my life over 20 years. And I'm still dumb with them around. Like they are very successful. They are, and I never did learn that. It took me a long time to get to know a friendship and a acquaintance. Um, Friendships are very important in your vision. And like you say, you don't have to tell everybody. You don't have to tell everything. Reggie is my bro him friend. He is my brother. And I am so dumb when
That's
it comes
so.
to him. And when I say on every level, spiritual level, everything, financial, everything, it's something that I learned from you in every aspect. And I don't look at it. Some people, when they have those type of people around them, they get to they ego trip. Oh, they think they better
They get
than them.
intimidated.
Yeah, they ego trip. They get intimidated, and it's more they cut them off, or he's not good enough, or she's not good enough, or this. No, it's not that. Your mind ain't ready for it. Your heart ain't ready for it. Your ears ain't ready for it. I don't deal with people that don't tell me truth. If you can't tell me the truth, you
This
can.
guy just gotta say, because this girl here will call, and the first thing come out of her mouth, she'll try to start talking but cut off because she got to speak to me when you call me. And the first thing that come out of her mouth, she'll say, "Now you tell me if I'm right or
the
wrong. You tell me if I'm wrong."
that's me.
And normally, what I start with is, with Chantel, 9 times out of 10, you probably wrong if you had to call
Yeah,
and say. And I can honestly say, of all of the people that I've had in my life, she is the only one who don't fight me. These other jokers out here be like, "Well, I don't believe you." Well, what you call me
yeah.
for?
See, I have to. You have to rationalize your emotions because a lot of people are very emotional in these days and times. They feed off their emotions. They want to feel good about the certain decisions they make or things that they do. Or so and I say friendship, and when we talk about it, friendship is very key important because those are people that I look at the fact of if me and my husband is in a situation, my husband is sick or my kids is sick or whatever the case may be, what are my friends bringing to the table? Don't just pray for me. Pray for my companionship. Pray for my husband. Pray for my kids. Like I need to know that you got that out. The same outlook you have for me, you got to have for my family. So my friendship visions is a lot different from a lot of people because I have some people that be like, I couldn't do now. See, that's your problem. You want somebody to sugarcoat, make you feel good. No, don't make me feel good. Call my bluff. Call me out. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And one thing that, because you don't see sometimes we don't see ourselves in the way that other people see us. And you need that. You need to be able to have those friends that help you build. I have a friend, Charlene, and even Reggie. What you doing? I'll be like, huh? What you got going? What you doing? How far have you came? How far have you even started on it? Or when you plan on releasing it? Or what you plan on doing? I need that because that helps me to not only know that, okay, I'm a mother, I'm a wife, but I'm also a human being. I'm a person. I'm Shontal, and you people tend to lose themselves in certain situations, but I feel like my friends keep me going on where I need to be in life, and that is so important, so important. And some people be like they don't need friends as long as they got their husband and their children, they fine. I feel like
And I'm scared of them
me
people.
too. I'm
The reason why I'm scared of them people because it's nothing wrong. I see some people that they grew up with so many siblings. I use that for an example. They grew up with so many siblings. They feel like, well, I don't need friends. I got all my siblings, all these sisters, all this brothers. If all y'all dysfunctional, who gonna call out dysfunction?
come on, and that's one of the things I tell Soraya. Uh, my kids, my other girls, they used to be like, well, it's too many of us. It's a lot of us, so we don't need friends. That is a lie. You need friends because you can't break a generational curse if y'all all dealing with the same situation. Who gonna see the curse that needs to be broken if all y'all on the same level? Who gonna break it? Who gonna help you say, well, Soraya, you know, if you don't do your homework, if you do your homework early, or you do this, or whatever, we'll have time to talk on the phone. But if you listen to your sister, we're gonna wait till later on night. How that's helping you? That ain't helping you. That's keeping you at a level, a certain level. And we don't want to be at levels. We want to break goals. We don't want to stay at 50, and we don't want to stay at 100. We pushing for 2. We pushing for 3. And so that's how I had to tell them, you need friends because your friends gonna help you. But and that's something you have to be taught. This latest generation, they I don't know, they grew up like that. You don't need friends. And parents teach their kids sometimes that.
Because I was about to say, I mean, I've been in places where that's taught.
Mm-hmm.
I've even been in places where even in pulpits, y'all know I'm a church boy. I've been even in pulpits. You can't trust nobody. You can't trust these people. I feel like that is such a bondage that
Mm-hmm.
people put themselves in. If you don't have people,
That's the land of Pharaoh.
then what? What? Oh, see, you're going above my head
Mm-hmm.
now. If you don't have people, then what you doing? Why do you feel like you don't need nobody? If you look in the Bible, for those of you who are Bible based believers, everybody in the Bible, even I mean, come on now.
Right.
Even Jesus had 12.
12.
They were disciples, but they walked with him. They were, if you don't want to say they were friends, we can say they were colleagues.
Right.
He had people though. So everybody needs people. It doesn't mean that you have to trust everybody that comes around. So you have to get a vision for what are the kind of relationships that you want to develop. Business relationships, because we can talk about colleagues in this too, friends and colleagues. Business relationships. Do you have mastermind groups? I have certain people that I go to that I literally just sit there and I can say something and I'll just listen to them talk.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just say something. Let's just throw that out there. Tell me what you think about it. Because I'm not the smartest.
Right.
And so they'll just go and I'll be like, oh, okay. So do you have mastermind groups? Do you have a support system? You see, you can't have friends that do it all. Some might be able to, but all your friends can't do it all. You need people who can help you think. You need people who can help you emotionally move through stuff.
Yep.
How you gonna have everybody if all your friends are family, and let's say for instance, Big Mama end up getting sick and everybody torn up.
Who gonna help?
All your family is your friends. Them the only people who's strong enough. Now you got somebody that's trying to fake strong.
Yeah.
For everybody else, you need outside people. One of the things that I love about and then your mentors. And before I go there, you need mentors too. Who are these people? One thing that I love about all of my circles and people and all that stuff, different things. They don't know each other. A lot of them. Like most of them don't know. Y'all don't know who I talk to.
Yes.
Y'all don't know who my other friends are. Y'all don't know. I don't flaunt it. I don't. We ain't got to be in friend circles. 5 and 6 of us together. I've been there. That didn't work out.
We're gonna leave that alone.
Because the Lord has delivered and restored since then. But they don't know each other.
Right.
They don't deal with each other. It ain't that I try to keep them apart, but I have a wide variety. I believe that friends don't have to be the same as me. I have friends who don't believe in the same God that I believe in. I know y'all got mad right there, but I don't care because it's my podcast and I ain't scared of nobody. Who don't believe in the same God that I believe in, but they hold keys. Now, there are certain things that I'm not going to take to them because you can't fight how I fight because we don't believe in the same God.
Right.
Now, let me just say, though, I ain't out here with these witches and stuff. See, now I got to feel like I got to spend a little time to clarify because I don't play with a witch. I ain't talking to nobody that got these chakras. I ain't talking to nobody with these sound bowls. I ain't talking to nobody with these crystals that's charging them
Illuminati.
and all that stuff. I ain't heard that word in a little minute. I forgot that the Illuminati was still out here taking these souls. But I use that for an example because you don't have to have all of the same like-minded people. Now you have to agree because how can two walk together unless they agree? But there are some people who can build you financially,
Right.
your financial mindset. They might just be temporary. I ain't gonna tell you what I'm going through. But if I need some help, I want to buy a stock and I need some help. I don't have to look at your whole background
Right.
and say, oh, this person. No, because I have this person that's going to help me with this. I have this person that can help me with that. I have this person that I can help with this. And then you have to have friends who we don't even really help each other with stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We just
Yeah.
chill. Let's just hang.
Yeah. Yeah.
We ain't got to give and take. Let's just enjoy company. Did you see this new show?
Mm-hmm.
Did you see this new movie? Did you see this TikTok video I sent you?
Mm-hmm. And so that's
They don't know each other. They're different, and I feel like we need
yeah.
that. It don't just do good to have people who went to the same school as you,
Right.
because sometimes you still got the same backgrounds and stuff. People who experience different stuff. I have friends literally everywhere.
That's a good key point because, like, as you know, if anybody watched the last podcast, Stephanie and Charlene didn't know each other. They knew of each other. They didn't heard the names before. That's just like you. You hadn't met none of them. So that's a good key point. Everybody don't know have
Stephanie, my home girl.
look. Everybody don't have to know each other because it's different. It's like a tree. Every stem, every flower, every stem, every limb has a certain part that's connected to me. And so that's a you have to categorize everybody in your life in a certain situation. And so that's one of the big keys that I have with friendship. But overall, my vision for everybody is that we all win. We all gonna win. We all win and we all pray. And that's one of the things that, a big thing, we all pray for each other, regardless. Whoever you connected to, when I pray for my friends, you or whatever, Lord, whoever he's connected to, let them be blessed. You don't have to know them, but you just cover who you connected to. You just always have to cover. But that is one of the visions of my 2020 from my husband, from my family, my kids. And I wanted to say with the family, go back to that for a second. A lot of times when you build your family, that includes your um the aunties and uncles or whatever. You have to be mindful when you create a family, the connection that you have. I spoke on it for a little while, but I didn't really get into it. The Ruth and Naomi relationship. I had to pray for that foundation. Like my mother-in-law. Let me love her like I love my mama. Let me love my sister-in-law, brother-in-law, whoever connected. Let me love my stepkids like I love my kids. Because it's a new connection. It's a new piece. It's a new environment for everybody. So you have to be strategic in your vision board when you make it out. You got to touch every basis of everything in order for it to become what you want it to be. You can't really leave nothing out because you have some people that break up families that get destroyed over in-laws. So I just want to put that out there as well.
And I think that's a good ending point about because we've gone through all three, but concerning all three of them collectively, you have to be strategic about every relationship. Every relationship that I have, every person that I have any kind of relationship or connection with in my life, It has purpose. I'm really intentional.
Mm.
I don't feel like that there's anybody that I look at and I say, well, what is this person doing here? I literally do, and I've said this before, I literally do evaluations. I go through, okay, what is this relationship looking like? Why is this person in my life?
Mm-hmm.
What are they bringing? And it doesn't mean they have to bring stuff. Can I call this person for prayer?
Right.
Can I call this person for a laugh? Can I call this person to lean on? What is this person? Every relationship. So that I believe it needs to be on every
Mm-hmm.
vision board or vision planning. Intentionality. What is the purpose of each relationship, from companionship to family, immediate and extended, to friends and colleagues? What is the purpose? What is the why is it? Why is it here? Even if you don't know the purpose, that don't mean just cut them
Right.
off. That means, okay, you got to sit down and say, okay, now what? Let's go back to the
Mm-hmm.
beginning. Where did this start? How did this start? Why did this? Oh, it started because of that. Oh, so maybe we can build on that. Or, oh, it started because of that.
Right.
Now I got to cut that off. And so, no empty, by the end of 2021, you should have no empty or no useless relationships. If it's useless, why you still
Mm.
have it? You should have no unbeneficial, no confusing, because a part of getting vision is to get
Yes,
clarity.
Lord.
No confusing relationships. Why are we in this relationship? Why are we friends? Why are we colleagues? Why are we connected? And you should have a good understanding. This is everybody's place. You know, this is not a Christian podcast. But here we go. Because you know that the devil, the enemy, there's a whole system in hell.
Mm.
And I always tell people it's literally a system and order, and there's no confusion. Everybody knows their place. Everybody knows what they do. Everybody knows this is who I'm assigned to. This is what I'm assigned to do. This is how I work. These are my shifts. These are my hours. You do you. I'm going to do me. We're going to work together. We're going to get the job done. There's no confusion in
Mm.
here. There's no confusion in heaven. Every angel knows this is what I do. This is who I'm assigned to. This is my job. This is how I operate. Shouldn't it be like that on
Yes.
earth? As it is in
Yes.
heaven, so shall it be
Yes.
on earth. It should be like that in our lives. We know there's no confusion amongst our relationships. We know it, therefore, there's nobody in heaven who shouldn't be in heaven. So there's nobody in my life who shouldn't be in my life. There's nobody in heaven who is confused about what they're doing. So there's nobody going to be in my life that's confused. If you're confused, come ask me. I'll let you know.
Right.
But be careful, though, because I might say, well, if you don't know, you don't need to be here, But there's no confusion. So you have to look at it that way. So by the end of this year, you have this still January. You have such a long time to go through and look through if you have to look through your Facebook you get on Facebook acting crazy you ain't got to be acting crazy with me. You get on Facebook talking crazy, I just might go ahead and block you. Because why I still
Yeah.
got you? You don't bring me peace. Why I still got you on here?
Right. You.
So we got to be like that
Yeah.
with people.
You have to. You have to protect your peace in 2021 at everything.
Family or not, because I got some family that's on that block list because they be,
Doing the most. Don't know how to act.
crazy. Be out here just
And
crazy. And
wilding
I
out.
don't have to participate in your
Yeah.
foolery.
That's how you do it. Just block them.
Just block them. The word of the... Let me
Big
stop
Mama
lying.
gonna help you out. You can still love them, but you just ain't got to see that it.
You can still
You
love
just
them.
ain't got to deal with them.
I speak to you when I see you in the store.
Mm-hmm.
Wave at you at the family reunion should I attend.
Mm.
I just don't want to see you on the...
Mm.
I had to add that last part because I had missed a lot of it. I just don't want to see you on the Facebook cutting up.
All the time.
Because it's disturbing my
Yes,
peace.
Lord.
Protect your
Yes,
peace.
Lord. 2021 protected.
So I think this has been 2021, and here on out, henceforth. I put that in the email this morning. Henceforth, we're gonna do this.
Yes.
I think that's good. So, you got 3 more areas. You got companionship, marriage. How does that look? What type of person you want to grow with? What is your love language? Date night, all that good old stuff. Family, immediate and extended. What does that look like? Beneficial. How is it beneficial? How are you building your family? How are you structuring your family? not just you and your spouse and your kids, but also the in-laws, also um, the uncles and nephews and nieces and all that, and then friends and colleagues who's in your circle. And I ain't gonna say what I think is the most important. I will, and I think that last one is the most important because who do we turn to? A lot of times we turn to our friends and our family, and if you turn to them and they have a negative outlook, if you go to them, Chantel does come to me. Can I say this? If not, I'll just edit it out. Chantel does come to me about her
Mm-hmm.
husband. Now, I ain't never been married, but I can tell her, well, maybe because and a lot of the times, I think she be thinking I'm a side with her.
Oh no, and he doesn't. You know what? I was
I hardly ever.
gonna actually say that when it comes to friendships, like with you, my friendship with you is on 2 or 3 levels, but I come to you a lot on certain situations from a man point of view, and even though you're not married, I know you're not just gonna take my side. So he has he has actually said that he will help my husband get the life insurance policy. So let me just say that them the type of friend.
Long as he
So
break
you
me
see what I'm
off,
talking about? Mm-mm-mm.
and I let it be told on the recording, we're not planning nothing, and we don't want nothing to happen to
Yeah,
Sweet with
Lord.
Love. However, I believe in a life insurance policy. I told her get one on him too. I ain't saying nobody gonna die. I'm just
Yeah,
saying,
just clarity.
God
Just
dog it. If I find that I can get one on somebody, I'm probably gonna take one out on a
oh
few people.
Jesus. With that being said, thank you so Reggie so much for having. It was fun to be back on the podcast.
It was a struggle because I didn't know what I was doing. I pulled up the app. I wouldn't even log in as myself no more.
Mm-mm.
We're gonna see what the rest of this season. Y'all pray.
Yes.
Y'all be praying for me because we got one more week of vision. Next week we got 3 more. I don't know what's gonna happen after that. I don't know yet.
You're gonna be okay.
We're gonna see. Well, thank you, Chantel, for coming. God, peace and blessings from God the Father unto
Thank you
you
so much for
and
having me.
yours.
And
Blessings to y'all. You got any last words before I tell these people
y'all,
leave?
if y'all heard my son in the background, please just pray for me.
Listen to him.
He's in here now. He can't wait till I get off this podcast.
Listen, it's hard.
Help him, Lord. Mama's baby.
We praying for him, the prophet in the
Prophet
mission.
Joshua.
Prophet Joshua. It's
Yes.
a word. That's biblical.
Help me, Holy Ghost.
Help her and help us all as we proceed. I have after next week. I don't know how many more episodes. However many I have, but after that, I think I may have 3. But after that, we will have season 2 of The Awakening with Shontal Bettis-Brown. I told her I hope she's
No,
ready because
I'm
they ain't
not
been doing
ready.
none on
Look,
this
I
season.
ain't ready.
You're gonna have to come on and help the people because you gotta hold the
But you
network
know
together
what?
because I've been showing up. You said
So,
what?
like, you know what? But one of the things that I wanted to say, I'm coming in at a very crucial point. You got the election going on. It'll be done 100
You
days
do?
in office with Joe Biden. Hey! And then you got Black History Month. Then you got the Love Month. No, the people say the Love Month. So I've been praying, Lord, give me guidance on what I need to do.
You got
Yeah,
a
I got a
lot.
lot of
You got a
topics.
lot. Well, at least you got a lot to
Yeah,
work with.
I do. So we're going to see.
Because you'll talk about all that stuff. I don't feel
Look,
like
I'll
talking
put it
about
out there. I don't care nothing about it.
it. I ain't got nothing to say about the election and stuff. It's good that the Lord has you coming when you come.
Help. But thank you so much. I really enjoyed myself. Now I have to get to mommy world.
Bless your
Yes.
heart. As long as you answer the phone when we hang up for just a moment. Peace and blessings from God the Father and to all of you. Until we meet again.
Amen.
Well, we've been doing a benediction. Just play the music. Just play the music.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.